week. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's Fantastic Tuesday, and I feel an extraordinary night coming on. I really, really, really do. So, welcome, family, and welcome, special guests. Special guests, I want you to immediately turn to the person who invited you this evening and say thank you and mean it. Thank you. Why the thank you? Because for many of you, this is a night you've been dreaming about, a night you've been praying about. This can be a transformative night for you, a life-changing night. It definitely was for me only a year ago. So welcome again. There aren't many rules for this evening except have an open mind, like a parachute. You know, a parachute doesn't work if it's not open, so let's keep that mind open. And then two, hold your questions until the end of the evening. We have some amazing speakers, and they have all of the answers. So I'm sure yours will be answered. And then finally, if you have a little thing in your pocket or purse called a cell phone, may I see it? Yes, I know you have it. It has an important role in tonight's meeting, but what I'll say for right now, so that we can tune into the great video we're about to watch, if you can turn it off or at least turn it on mute and vibrate so we can get started. We are going to watch a video. It's only 2-3 hours. I hope you don't mind. I'm kidding. It's not long at all, quite honestly. As you watch it, only a few things that we want you to pay attention to: who our partners are, the credibility of our company, and how we get paid. So welcome again. Let's get started.
Visitors around the world. Someone is surfing the internet, cooking a meal, or turning on a light. Someone is sending a text message, watching TV, using a credit card, and someone is definitely making a phone call. Just imagine if you got paid because someone did any of those things. These essential services represent the largest and fastest growing industries in the world, exceeding $1.75 trillion annually. And now, you can be a part of it. How is this possible? Well, most service providers spend millions of dollars on traditional advertising to attract new customers and to try to keep the ones they already have. ACN instead works with people just like you to go direct to the customer, eliminating the high costs of advertising, and the result is more choices for consumers and a remarkable business opportunity for you. Through ACN, you can build a successful business of your very own by offering people an alternative on the services they are using anyway. ACN has attracted attention in very high places and among the world's most successful business leaders. One such leader is billionaire entrepreneur Donald J. Trump, who has built his career on recognizing and taking advantage of exceptional opportunities when he sees them. After personal invitations from Donald J. Trump himself, ACN was featured on 2 episodes of The Celebrity Apprentice, NBC's hit reality television show.
ACN has a reputation for success. Success that's really synonymous with the Trump name and other successful names, and you can be part of it.
In 1993, ACN has grown to 24 countries on 4 continents, with offices throughout North America, Europe, Latin America, Asia, and the Pacific, creating a solid foundation that will stand the test of time. Our success has been profiled in Fortune magazine, USA Today, The Wall Street Journal, US Business Review, Direct Selling News, Success Magazine, and Success from Home magazine. Inc. magazine ranked ACN the 22nd fastest growing company in North America within our first 5 years in business. ACN was a pioneer in capitalizing on the deregulation of the telecommunications industry. And today, we are the largest direct seller of telecommunications, energy, and essential services in the world. ACN continues to grow by providing choices on the essential services millions of consumers and businesses already use every single day. Essential services such as phone services, wireless services, natural gas and electricity, home and business security and automation, television, internet service, computer support, and credit card processing. Everyone uses at least one or more of these services. In fact, these are the services people simply won't live without. And with our Strive for 5 promotion, when you or your customers each refer 5 friends and family that sign up for the same ACN service, your service or your customer service can be free. So what does all of this mean for you? It means an opportunity for you to own your very own business with the total support of ACN behind you every step of the way. For starters, ACN has developed and will provide, host, and maintain your very own personalized storefront where you can direct people to go and shop for all their essential services. One key component to our winning business model is how you get paid. At ACN, you can earn residual income. Every time someone becomes a customer of these essential services through your personal storefront and pays for their monthly services, you get paid month after month, year after year, for as long as they remain on the ACN service. And every time you acquire a new customer or help an existing customer add a new service or your customers refer other customers, you give yourself a raise. But that's just the beginning. Introduce others to ACN, show them how to get customers through their own personal storefronts, and as their customers use ACN services, not only does their monthly residual income grow, so does yours. There's no limit to the number of customers you can acquire, and no limit to the number of people you can introduce to ACN. At ACN, if it's on, you get paid. It's really that simple.
Well, a great opportunity before you in ACN without any of the risks most entrepreneurs have to take. I've experienced the opportunity that exists when you're able to jump ahead of the curve, and ACN gives you that opportunity. Believe me, it's ultimately a dream come true.
At ACN, our business is providing individuals like yourself with a lucrative business opportunity, offering services that people use every day. But our mission has always been to make a difference, not only in your life, but also in the lives around us. And for us, that starts with children. Today, over 17 million children in North America do not know where their next meal is coming from, and that is just not acceptable. So we have joined forces with the Will Play for Food Foundation in the fight to end childhood hunger right here at home. When someone becomes an ACN customer and pays their bill each month, a child gets fed. It doesn't get any simpler or more powerful than that.
I've always believed in being charitable and giving back. That's why I love ACN. When you become an ACN customer, you pay your bill each month and a child gets fed. Now that's what I call making a difference.
It's your life. How will you choose to spend it? Earning money on your terms, providing services people are already using, and feeding children in need in the process. That's what ACN is all about, and you can be a part of it.
I found there are 2 types of people: those who take action and those who let opportunity pass them by. Which one are you?
A lot of information in that video. So right now, I get the distinct opportunity to introduce the very special person who's going to recap that information, break it all down. She has all of the information all of the time. She is a superwoman in my mind, and many of the folks who are in this room, they know about her superhuman powers. She is so selfless, leading us week after week, month after month to great success in this company. She's selfless as a single mother who moved from Phoenix to Los Angeles, California to lead this team. She is powerful as an administrator in her job and in this organization as well. She is my mentee. Now it's flipped that she is my mentor. And I love her to death and really owe much of my success in this organization to Miss Jamila Frierson. So thank
Wow, I'm so uncomfortable. She speaks about me that way. And let me tell you why. This is a lady that I've looked up to since I was a little girl. She's worked, her and my grandmother have been great friends for well over 20 years. Well over 20 years. And to see this lady, I used to watch her in my grandmother's salon, right? There were too many women that looked like me that did what she did. She's this successful doctor, this amazing mom. She had everything that I didn't have, but she was just so personable and always just took to me in a certain way. And I'm grateful for her because a lot of the success that I've achieved outside of this business and within this business came from a foundation that she actually laid. So I'm grateful to her. So when she says we flipped, I'm not comfortable with that because I still look up to you the same way. And I'm grateful to you. So let's give it back to Dr. I'm going to ask, first, my name is Jamila Frierson, right? And I'm going to ask that you, some powerful stuff. Is that me or you? I like to think it's me. No, really, I really would like for you to set aside all the nice things that she said about me. Because I'm truly just an average girl from Patterson, New Jersey, who went to high school in Baltimore, that just kind of achieved some above average success. Nothing spectacular, right? And I say that because if you know anything about Patterson, New Jersey, it's a rough city. I'm serious. If you watch Lean on Me, I came from that city. Joe Clark was my dad's boss. All of my mother's brothers and sisters graduated from that high school. So our foundation was slightly different. It didn't come with a plan of education. It didn't come with a plan of Ivy League schools. There was no plan of, SATs. It was by the time you're in the 10th grade, you work a 40-hour week and you contribute to the household. That's what I did. I've worked a 40-hour week since the 10th grade. All I know is work ethic. I didn't know how to apply to a college. I didn't know what my plan was because no one showed it to me. And I say that because when you look at the environment that I'm in now, people always assume that there was somebody, a mom, like I wish I had, like this lady here, who's putting her daughter through law school and has a son that's in a private school. They assume I came from that just by association, which is great. Just think what you want to think. Right? But that's not the case. So I say that to you because I'm seeing things through different eyes. I do work in education now, right? I have an amazing son. And I've been helping people get their doctorate and master's and bachelor's degree for well over 10 years now, 12 years exactly. And I kind of fell into that by accident, trying to do something else. I don't think people wake up and say, I'm going to be a mission advisor. I haven't met anyone yet that says that. And I haven't met anyone that said they're going to be a DOA, which in my industry should stand for dead or on arrival because I work a 70 or 80-hour week. But I also didn't wake up and say I wanted to be a single mom. I didn't wake up for that either. As a matter of fact, let me tell you a secret. I really thought I was doing something with this game. I said, I'm going to get married first. And then I'm going to plan my child with my husband. Because that's what none of the women in my family did. So I'm going to do the opposite of what they did to get what they didn't have. Well, I still got what they had, which was just me running the ship. Right? But moving forward, that made me make different decisions, right? I was ambitious. I wanted to provide a different lifestyle than what my family provided for me. So I set lofty goals. I wanted to make 6 figures before the time I was 30. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but how many people know when you make a decision to do something, it gets done? Absolutely. So it just happened, right? I worked hard. It wasn't given to me. And then I was like, when you get a taste of 6 figures and you start spending double 6 figures and you only got one set of 6 figures, and you start realizing your debt is still over your income and you're living the same way you were living when you made $30,000. Anybody relate that? That was happening. See, when you make $100,000 and you owe $200,000, you're on a different broke level. But I thought I was doing something because you might be broke, but your car's nicer. Right? And I was in a situation where I still felt good about the fact that I had provided a foundation for my son that wasn't really provided for me. So here's what happens. How many people know if you make over a certain amount of money, you're trading more time than you ever thought you had for that money? Let's keep it real. If you make over 60,000, you're working more than 40 hours a week. And I know that because my employees that make 60,000 work more. I make them do that. Right? So I realized I'm setting this foundation, I'm working hard, I have this money. And then I remember in the 5th grade where I sat down with my son's teacher and they told me I should leave him back in school. Not because he wasn't smart, but because I wasn't available to really support him the way that he needed. See, I was a latchkey kid. Latchkey kids, you know that I just gave my generation away. But we were used to taking care of ourselves. But the difference between him and I was I also had a set of survival skills that I didn't instill in him. So when I realized I was trading all of my time for money, and on the outside looking in, it looked great to other people, but the person I loved the most was suffering, it made me look at things a little bit different. But do you stop? Because you live with a certain lifestyle and you get accustomed to things. You don't stop there, right? Here's the change for me. I had to walk into one of my sister campuses. And to give you a little background information about my industry, this is called a recession-proof industry. I've been told that from day one I've been in my industry. See, in 2008, when people were losing their homes, I was getting a $20,000 raise. Because what happens is when the economy goes down, people go back to school. So we look for that in our industry. We're like, whoa, unemployment is high, you're coming back for another master's degree. Right? Unemployment is high, you're gonna go and get your certificate and be a medical assistant, not realizing you can have that job without the certificate. Yes.
Right.
Right?
True.
So we had that going on, and there's a certain level of arrogance you live in or security you live in when you look at everything falling apart around you. You're like, I'm not living that story. I'm going to keep it going. And then this lady comes to me who was my boss's boss. She taps me on the shoulder on a Friday evening at 5 p.m. and says, I need you to clear your schedule on Monday. And I said, okay. Okay, why? She said, I'm going to need you to travel with our VP to our sister campus. We're shutting it down. So I'm like, the whole campus down? The whole campus down. That meant 200 people just from my department. It was really more than that, but in my department alone, it was 200 people. And admissions. And she said, by the way, your counterparts don't know. Your director counterparts don't know this is happening. So these are people that, this is a very small industry. I was raised in this industry with them, basically. These are my friends. These are people that I can talk to that are my director counterparts that we can complain about things too. And all of a sudden, their livelihood was in my hands. And I had to go there and watch them walk out to their cars with a box and 2 weeks worth of severance. So, and it's crazy too, because I remember getting emails and text messages that day, oh, my computer's not working, my badge doesn't work, we have security here. They had 45 cab drivers come out to just in case you carpool, you can get home. I never seen anything like that. So with that happening, I then had to sit in a room for 4 days, interview 100 of those 200, only knowing that I had room for 50. I knew that. And the people that I liked the most, I was like, I got you. You might take a 30 or 40% pay rate, decrease, but I'm gonna at least make sure you have your job, because that's the least I can do. Then I got through that, and I felt safe. There's a guilt that kind of comes over you, and I got phone calls and nasty emails. You knew this was coming. How did you give me a heads up? How could you do this? I thought you were my friend. I remember going into the bathroom and just vomiting because I felt sick. I'd never gone through that before. So we got through those 4 days. We hired those 50 people. I remember thinking, whew, I made it. And then they laid me off. And it was at that moment in my life that I felt helpless. See, when I was 15 and working a 40-hour week, I didn't feel helpless. When I had to help my mother pay a light bill, I didn't feel helpless. When I had to help put food on the table or supply my own things for my school and prom and clothes, I didn't feel helpless. I felt like I just had to do that. But for the first time in my life, to go from X amount of dollars coming in to no dollars coming in, made me realize I was on a different path. Because guess what I learned? My bills kept coming. People didn't care that you were laid off. And when that happened to me in Arizona. And in Arizona, the maximum amount of unemployment you can get is $275 a week, whether you made $150,000 or not. That was gas for 3 days for me, you might as well say, because I did a lot of driving to back and forth from campuses. So what do? Well, I had enough skill to go back to another school, but this is a 3-year cycle. It's happening. Because just last week, the guy that went to that school to help me lay those people off, I interviewed him. Just last week. The craziest thing ever. So I'm here in front of you now when Dr. Glenn so eloquently put, having your mind open. My mind wasn't open to this the first time I saw it in 1998. My mind wasn't open in 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010 from the same person. I wasn't open. I was actually a little bit arrogant and thought I had the right path because I had tenure in my industry. Well, guess what? Tenure means nothing unless you own the company. How many people know that?
Absolutely.
Means nothing. You've been with that company for 8 years. I watch people with 10 years experience walk out with 2 weeks worth of severance. That's how much you are valued when things need to be changed. So I'm going to go through the marketing plan fairly quickly. And the video that you just saw actually went through the first 3 slides. It gave you the information you needed to know about what it is. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to breeze through that and then I'm going to tell you how it is. Does that make sense? Is everybody all right with that?
Yes.
All right, let's go get the video. So the name of our company, ACN, we're international service provider. What that means is we provide services internationally. How easy was that? It's powerful because if you saw this with me in 1998, we weren't that international. So what I learned in 1998, in 2005, in 2007, in 2008, in 2009, that this company didn't do anything but grow while mine was depleting. So it made me figure out that my arrogant attitude that this was not good enough or not something that I should do, let me know that this vehicle was moving without me. That's crazy, huh? Because in 1998, we weren't in 50 states and we weren't in 24 countries. That let me know again, I had no idea what this business was about, yet I felt intelligent when I was turning it down. But what really caught my attention by the time I got my head right in 2012 was that we were in 1% of the market share. See, here's where greed kicks in. I need to know what I can get out of this opportunity. Because I just went through layoff, I got a mouth to feed. Is this worth it? And see, 1% of the market share says that there's 99% for me. And if you are a shark like myself, you will go and capitalize and try to go get that 99%. I don't know what you're doing, but that's what I do. So next slide. This slide is about research. Research is powerful. Nancy, it's amazing to me, I'm just talking to you right now, that when people start talking about money, they all of a sudden become professional researchers. I have had this conversation with people with GEDs who all of a sudden have an entire legal team. Have you ever talked to people about something and all of a sudden they become really intelligent to tell you about it and you know they don't know nothing about it? I went through that. And here's what I knew about myself. I knew that Inc., USA Today, Fortune, Success, Direct Selling, News, Magazine, Success from Home all have legal teams that I could not afford, even with my 6-figure income. So I'm going to ask you, when you look down the line at this opportunity, who are you asking for advice? Just because I make 6 figures does not mean I'm qualified to tell you about $1 million. Right?
Yes.
But then the other question I'm going to ask you is, how many people know some really intelligent doctors? I do. I'm the one right here. But I'm not going to call her if I get in a car accident. I'm calling a lawyer. You know how many people call doctors in this industry for advice about law? That's how I feel. Unless you have a degree in research, then you don't understand that I can't out-research these magazines, these publications. And that was security for me. But the other level of security that lied with me was in Donald Trump, the first time ever I had security in him. Because I don't like his hair or his politics. But you cannot negate the fact that he makes more money than me.
That's right.
And probably all of you. And if there's a billionaire sitting in the room, I want to know you. I want to know you. And the fact that he put his name on this business and backed it, says that he did what with his legal team? He ripped us apart.
Yeah.
He ripped us apart. Despite of all I just said, some of you are going to go home and Google and go ahead and talk to your Aunt Sally, who has been a huge influence in your life, and ask her about this. Unless she has millions, she can't help you. Just saying, just keeping it real. But still, do it anyway. Let me take the next slide. This is our wonderful building, 140 square feet, 17 acres. Why is this attractive? Homeowners, are there any homeowners in here? Stand up. Because that's a great accomplishment. You own your home, stand up. Give it a round of applause. There's not a lot of homeowners. Now, I didn't say sit down. Do you pay a bank?
Yes.
You pay a mortgage?
Yes.
The real conversation here is you don't own your home. Have a seat. I'm sorry. I apologize. But we own our home. It's solvent. And we don't just own our home here in the United States, but we own our home in that international expansion that we saw earlier. So now we've gone through credibility. We've gone through the part of the research that's been done. This company is moving with or without you, and we can pay our bills. That was important to me. Because when you're working for a company that's in debt, I just had a conversation with the president of our college of cutting back our campus another 8% in order for us to not break our financial covenants so we can continue to meet even the earnings before interest, taxes, and amortization. See, when you have to start impacting other people's lives to keep your doors open, that changes things. Does that make sense? Next slide. Now, this is the important part. Really look at this. How many people have been invited to one of these things before? Okay. How many people want auto shipping to sell a product out of their trunk? Raise your hand. I didn't either. Okay, well, this is the right room. I didn't want to do that. I am not doubting that other things work. But the one thing that stood out to me was, number one, I don't have a lot of time. I'm a single mom. I'm a professional. I actually like what I do. I like helping people get their education. It doesn't bother me, right? And I'm great at it from that standpoint. But I wanted to know, what can I get involved in to impact my bottom line? What can I bring in that's going to help sustain myself? See, I learned in that situation that I had residual bills. I never really used that word when it came to bills. But guess what residual means? It's something that happens over and over and over again. I signed up with my gas company one time and I paid them over and over and over again. Do you know if I called them and said I got laid off, they were going to say, okay, your bill's still due?
That's right.
They don't care. So I looked at this and said, I'm paying these people already. I was actually kind of confused. I was like, I've been paid here? Did y'all bring me here because I'm late on the bill? They could have just called me. I might not have answered, but they could have called me. I realized that there are essential services up here. These are things that people are doing anyway. There's really only two types of people in this room right now. Either you're on the accounts payable side, or you're on the accounts receivable side. Now, I've been paying bills since I was 15 years old. I'm not about to tell you how old I am right now, but it's been a long time that I've been paying them. And they owe me some money.
5 years.
Because the next few examples that I'm about to show you, you're going to be like, what? I was floored, Nancy. Do you pay an electric bill? How long have you been paying electric bill? Can I ask? I'll tell you mine. How long have you been paying electric bill? I'll tell you mine. 20 years. Over 28 years. So I want you to remember that number. Because I'm about to show you something, and you're going to calculate it. I'm going to need you to add it up really fast. Get your phone out. So I want you to take this number and multiply it by 12 months. And then take that number and multiply it by 28 years. And I want you to send them a bill, okay? Here's what's happening. The two services that really stick out to me the most are energy and high-speed, not high-speed internet, excuse me, merchant services. High-speed internet's all right, but not for me. Merchant services is. Let me tell you why. How many people know who Warren Buffett is?
Yep.
Would you pay attention to him if he gave you a financial tip, even if it was just a small one? Would you listen?
Yes.
What if I told you that he got together with his friend, Bill Gates, and they had a conversation about this, and it's documented. You can actually, I'll allow you to Google that. You can Google it. And both of them together said that energy will be the greatest shift of wealth known to mankind. Both of them together said that the last time this happened, and they both used the language of modern day gold rush. The last time this happened was when deregulation of phones in long distance happened. That was well over 20 years ago. So what that let me know is something's going on that I don't understand, and I want a piece of it. Because when I heard Warren Buffett say that the last time this happened, 6,000 random millionaires were created, well, how did I get this? So it made me raise my antenna up. But the emergent services is so attractive to me because I'm just always swiping my debit card. I'm going to ask a question. If you swiped your debit card within the last 48 hours, raise your hand. Hold it up. Hold it up. Because my next question to you is, how much did you get paid from doing that? Did you, right? Do you want to get paid for doing that? Would you cash that check?
Yes.
Next slide. Strive for 5. See, not only are you, I'm going to show you a way where you can make money off the things you're doing anyway, but what if you can have some of your bills be free? See, it's one thing to save money, but it's another thing to not have to dish out any money. See, that's actually a form of a stream of income. If you no longer have to pay a bill that's going on anyway, that money comes back to you. All of it, not some of it. How many people know your cell phone is your lifeline? How many people would like it a lot more if you never had to pay that bill again? Yep. Right. This is about simplicity. It's very logical. Some of you are going to leave here and really overcomplicate this. But here's how this is really going to work. Do you know 5 people on the Sprint or Verizon network that want to cut their bill in half? Yes or no?
Yes.
And if you were able to find those 5 people and serve them and help them cut their bill in half, how about the company rewarding you and saying your bill is free? We're going to stop there. What if those 5 people say, you know what, I'm not interested in saving money on any of my bills? That's not a dumb conversation. Listen, I'm going to repeat it because some people actually say it. Just don't know they say it. I'm not interested in saving money on any of my other bills. But I know 5 other people who want to cut their bill in half. And then you go to them and say, well, you know what, I'm glad you're not interested in saving money on any of your other bills, but how about you refer those 5 people to me and I make your bill free? See, that's powerful.
Absolutely.
Because they're going to pay that bill what? Anyway. How many people are you helping with the things they have going on anyway? See, I can introduce you into prepaid legal. I can introduce you into Montevinoni Juice. I can introduce you into Amway, wraps and body wraps and Herbalife. Great products. I just got introduced to a new product, something called Bell. But here's what I know. When I lose my job, I'm not buying any of those things. As a matter of fact, it's the first thing to go. That's not residual income.
No, it's not.
But here's what else I learned. Don't tell anybody this, because they're probably like, what happened? When I lost my job, do you know what I paid first? My cell phone. You know what I paid second?
Internet, TV.
Electricity. Then I paid my internet because I needed my cell phone, my electricity, so my internet could work so I could find a new job. You know what I paid last? The rent. The rent. And I was on auto shit for Herbalife. You know what went first?
Herbalife.
That. I ain't got no money anyway, so I'm about to lose this weight on my own. I don't need to buy your shakes. Can't afford to buy food now. So when you think about what makes sense in your life, ask yourself, how do you make money off of the things you're doing anyway? You know what that means? That means don't stop what you love doing. That means don't stop being one of the best dermatologists in the country. Don't stop being an attorney or a mortgage broker. You add this into what you're doing, and now you're really maximizing MSI, multiple streams of income. Because I believe if you have multiple streams of bills, you should have multiple streams of income.
Absolutely.
It just makes sense. Yes. Next week's class. Keep going. Oh wait, stop here. This is just a perk, but yet so powerful. So we talked about the internet bill, right? We talked about your cell phone bill, gas, electricity, your security system, your home phone. How many people know that every day, and by the way, in my house in Arizona, I'm 8 services, and I'm 4 services here in Long Beach. So that's 12 services. I know that every day I roll out of bed and put my feet on the ground after I thank God for waking me up. 12 kids just ate.
Mm-hmm.
For something that I was doing anyway. How many people are you serving for the things you do anyway? How many people know sometimes you don't have the time to do that, and you wish you could?
Yes.
You wish you could go to the shelters and volunteer your time, but you can't because you're at the other place volunteering your time for money. See, when you're trading time for money, it's hard to trade your time for no money. You start quantifying the value of doing that. But every day that I get up, and every day that I help someone on my team acquire a customer, I know that we are feeding hungry children right here in our backyard. How powerful is that?
It's huge.
Next slide. So how are we able to do this? This is like my favorite part because there are some of you sitting in here right now going, why would those companies work with them? Here, let me show you. You're doing this right now. I'm gonna mimic some of y'all. Now we're rising through that. I don't know. AT&T, Dish Network, right? I don't get it. Same person who bought a hotel room from Hotwire. Now, I'm a Hotwire fanatic. I love Hotwire. You know why? Because all I got to do is choose by stars. And if it's a 4-star hotel, I don't care what you give me because 4-star means no bed bugs. Right? 4 stars means service is a little better. Do we agree?
Absolutely.
But there's somebody sitting in amongst you right now feeling really intelligent and trying to figure out why these Fortune 500, 200, and 100 companies would do this. So I'm going to tell you, when I purchased my last hotel room through Hotwire, I ended up at the JW Marriott. Do you think I asked JW Marriott why I got a discount? So when you buy a plane ticket from Expedia and Priceline, are you calling Delta and saying, did you really mean to give this to me for $300 instead of $7?
No.
So why do you want to know why they did that?
Right.
Ask yourself that. Because the bottom line is legally, we cannot put our name or put a Fortune 500, 200, and 100 company's name consistently, week after week, year over year, without being sued or being forced to remove it. Again, it goes to that legal team you don't have. There are laws in place. See, here's what these companies realize. I'm going to break down some marketing plans for you. A marketing plan is normally built out 2 years, 5 years, 10 years out. We build ours out 5 years out. So if you were a company that built yours out that far, 5 years, 10 years out, which McDonald's does 10 years, by the way, including their media plan. And all of a sudden, you built this amazing marketing plan for kids in the Ronald McDonald House, this brand new cheeseburger. We're going to put real cheese and beef on that burger this time. And during an episode of Power, we're going to show the commercial. Well, guess what? I pre-record all of my shows, and I'm not watching the commercial. I'm fast-forwarding through your $3.5 billion time slot. Thank you. I'll learn what you have in your menu when I decide to go. So, how many people are in this room? Think about it. Look around. How many of you are watching commercials? Take $3.5 million by all the commercials you watch and multiply it times yourself. That means that most of these companies are in the red, and they're trying to figure out how to get back into the black. And the way they do that is they partner with the company who has access to millions of people and use the oldest method in the world. It's called the Girl Scout cookie. And I'm talking about real cookies, not the other Girl Scout cookie. You understand? The Girl Scout cookie method. Only a couple of y'all got that. That's good. The other Girl Scout cookie, the only Girl Scout cookie that's worked for years. How many of you have ever bought a Girl Scout cookie? How many of you didn't eat it?
I can't say that.
How did you get coerced into buying 2 to 3 boxes of cookies you didn't eat? You know why? Because somebody that you know, who knows you, asked you to do them a favor and you did it. Same process here. See, somebody you know, you're going to ask them to do you a favor because they're paying that bill anyway. You're paying that bill anyway. And you want to help them out in a way, except I don't have to come back to you the next time we have a fundraiser and ask you, do you want more cookies? Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
That's how we're able to do that. So instead of paying marketing dollars,
Mhm.
we pay you. How do we pay you? Let's talk about that. First way you get paid. Hope you're taking notes. This is the part that made me stand up. First way you get paid is your personal residual income. Who do you want to begin making money off of first?
Yourself.
No, they owe you, don't they? You said this is really good. I'm gonna come back to you in a second. You want to get 10% of the bills you paid anyway. Now Nancy's been paying bills for 28 years. We're gonna find out how much money they. Anybody got their calculator out? Because I'm gonna really need to quantify this for Nancy. So say I'm gonna give you a hypothetical example first, so you can kind of wrap your mind around this. Say you have 40 services, right? Or 60 services, let me say that. And when I say 60 services, if you listen to what I said earlier, I was 8 services in my home in Arizona and 4 services in my home here in Bixby Knolls. So one person could be anywhere from 10 to 12 services. But say you went out, and that's a household, right? So say you went out and acquired about 5 or 6 households, and you helped them cut their cell phone bills in half, you helped them save money on their bills, and they did you a favor by servicing you as well, helping you out. And let's pretend that all of their bills added up to $40 per month. That was the average, right? Anybody know anybody that has bills that average $40 per month? No. Well, let's pretend for a second. Maybe if we all put our minds to it, we'll manifest it, but whatever. Let's pretend. That's about $240 per month coming back to you every month. I expected that from California. See, only the people who are getting that now are clapping, but let me tell you what that really means. Nancy's worked and paid bills for 28 years. I need you to take $240 and multiply by 12. What do you get?
2,800.
2,880, right? I need you to take that and multiply that by 28.
80 grand. 80,000.
How much?
80,000.
Not clapping for that. That's how much they owe her. For the things that she had already did. Nancy, what would you have done with an extra $80,000?
A new car.
For the things that you were going to do anyway, you went about your life, you worked in your career, you spent the time with your family, nothing's changed in your past. We're not going back to change your past, except for an extra $80,000. That's powerful, if you think about it that way. But let's really, I want you to remember that $80,000. We're stuck in at $240 based on her bills averaging $40 per month. I bet Nancy's bills don't average $40 per month. Let's pretend that Nancy's bills average to $400 per month. Is that not conservative for utilities? Yeah. So can you tack a zero onto that $80,000? How much you got now? Somebody can afford a legal team now. What would you have done if you took the last 28 years and saved up $800,000? Right? But you bigger players that didn't clap for that $240 who live in those 6,000 and 12,000 square foot homes and your bills average $2,000, you want to go on and tack some zeros onto that now? For the length of time you've been paying bills? See, this just makes sense. It's just logical. Let's go to the next slide. So that's the first way. The second way is leverage. This is where the real money lies. Because if you really take that example and all of a sudden multiply that out. See, Nancy, do you know 200 people that wish they had $800,000 right now? See, if Nancy took that same example with her family and said, we need to get together. They owe us some money. We need to go back and get it. But you know what, family? We can't go back and get it, but we won't let one more dollar go by us.
Absolutely.
Because we earned it. And she found 2 people that she loves that are overworked and that are underpaid, and she showed them how to do what she just did. She sat down with them, she asked them the same tough question, how long you been doing this? How much do your bills qualify to? Here's what they owe you, here's what we're about to go get. Because guess what, Nancy's probably, she looks young, she's probably gonna work for another 20 years. So you got to make that up. You got some ground to make up. And then what happens is Nancy is so busy that she didn't have time to show people how to gain 60 services. Nancy stopped at 20 services. And that's because she loves her life, right? She loves what she's doing. And she had no intentions on replacing what she's doing, so she can only teach what she knows. And because she taught what she knows, guess what those two people are going to do? They're going to teach what they know. And what happens is, every time that happens, and it happens 7 times, and Nancy's lineage, now instead of $240, it's $11,000 per month. In residual income hitting her bank account month after month after month. Instead of 28 years now, she has another 20 years to make that up. And that will be based on Nancy's real bill model, not $40 per hour. I mean, $40 average per hour. See, that's how powerful this is. This is about leverage. How many of you work for someone? Stand up, please, if you work for someone. I'm standing because I work for someone. You have a job. So I'm going to show you how this really works. See, J. Paul Getty said, I'd rather get paid on 1% of 100 people's efforts than 100% of my own. So look around the room. Pretend you are the CEO and the owner of the company you work for, and these are your employees. Right? Happy, right? No, because he has overhead or she has overhead, they got insurance, they got sick time. No, stand up, you're taking away from my employees. I need you. You're the CEO, and on Monday morning, you got a cough. You got sick. CEO, talking to you. And everybody that's standing up came to work, but you didn't. Do you know that you still will make the same amount of money you would have made if you showed up that day? Yep. As a matter of fact, because you're leveraging all of them, you get to accomplish your dreams. Because every day that each of you get up in the morning, hit that alarm clock, and go to your job, you're helping somebody accomplish their goals. Say thank you to yourself. Because that's what you're doing. Have a seat. You'll think about that in the car on the way to work. Don't do anything to your boss. It's not their fault that they leverage you. And if you went to college, you went to school to learn how to be leveraged. Now I'm going to talk to you from a college perspective. Education is great. But most millionaires and billionaires didn't graduate high school or dropped out of college. So if you have ambitions, which not everybody does have ambitions to make a lot of money, that's okay. Continue to be leveraged. Nothing wrong with that. Because there's different levels to this game for leveraging. But how many of you have a Facebook page? Talk about leverage. Because some of you are looking at this going, I want to do that. Oh, now y'all act like y'all don't have Facebook. I know you do. I'm looking at a couple of you because you're on my page. So stop it. But I bring that up because you're looking at this idea and going, well, I don't know if I know anybody. I don't know if I can do that. How can I do this? I don't have that kind of influence. Well, she did it because she knew people. You think I knew it? There ain't nobody from Patterson, New Jersey in my organization. I'll tell you that right now. Well, maybe one. That's my grandmother. But you're doubting yourself with this opportunity. Yet, I have a question for you. It's a personal question. When Zuckerman built Facebook, did you get a phone call from him?
No.
He didn't notify you? Mm-mm. He didn't ask you how much money you would want from him? Mm-mm. He didn't make you a priority in his life? Mm-mm. But you turned over your entire network to him?
Oh, okay. Okay.
You turned over your entire life and network of friends and family to him and didn't care. Matter of fact, you added some people that aren't your friends and called them friends. This is Facebook but getting paid. This is Facebook without the drama. This is Facebook without the lies. This is Facebook without the pop-ups. This is in a way for you to create a network, and instead of just building a network for free and helping someone else get paid, you're now building a network and you're teaching them how to get paid, and you get paid because you're teaching them. Which Facebook would you rather be a part of? I'm confused. Ours. Ours, right? I know. Me too. I like it. You like it? I like it. Next slide. So, what is your investment? Your investment is $499. This is a business. This isn't a club. This is an organization. Let me quantify that for you. $499 adds up to $50 per year for 10 years. I'm going to tell you right now that if you didn't save $50 a year for the last 10 years, you need this more than you think you do. You don't have it. Because the question you want to ask yourself is, you came here because someone invited you. But let's go back to New Year's Eve when you prayed for an opportunity. How many people prayed to lose weight? How many people prayed to change their money? Sometimes you don't even know what you prayed for. And then you get here and be like, I'm not going to be able to do that. If you don't have $50 a year for the last 10 years, you're in trouble. Because that means you're getting up every day, being leveraged by someone else, who, by the way, probably does have more than $50 per year, and you're okay with that. So if this isn't your plan B, what is your plan B? Do you even know what it is? Or are you just hoping your situation will change while you're doing the same thing you did last year? Here's what you get for $499. You get an e-commerce global website. A website that is linked to 24 countries and 50 states. It's linked to all of these Fortune 500, 200, and 100 companies. When they make a change, your website makes a change. A customer can go onto your site no matter where they are in the world, sign up one of their services so they can save money, and because they did that, you get paid 10% of their bill, whether they live in Italy, Poland, or Australia. Whoa. The second thing you receive is another website on how to explain the business. Because guess what? You're not going to know how to do that when you get in the business. So there are tools available to you to explain it in a professional way. It gives you the background on the company, the founders. The other thing you get is no overhead. Because if you're aspiring to be a business owner, are there business owners in here? Yes. How many people know your business owns you? How many people know that if you're the CEO, you're the last person to get a check? Yeah. How many people know that if you're a business owner, you leave yourself off of your insurance plans because you can't afford it? How many people know that your employees are babies and you got to babysit them and they're a liability? That's how I feel every day when I go to work. I'm like, am I having a conversation with a grown-up about being 15 minutes late? You don't go sit down somewhere. I'm not having this conversation with you. I didn't walk up on this conversation, they won't know which one of us is crazy. But it happens with 75 people I'm like blown away when I have 35 and 40-year-olds who want to have the wrong conversation. I'm confused. But you don't have that overhead. You don't have the liability. You have a turnkey website, a turnkey business that can generate millions based on what you want out of that idea. It's moving without you. It's already working. You don't have to find out whether or not it's working. It actually does work. So, all you get to do is get customers and help other people get customers. And your business grows while you're doing what you love to do. And now, if Nancy had did that over the last 28 years and built an organization slowly year after year after year, could you imagine what her residual income would be today? Don't get mad. Do not call the electric company and yell at them. They will cut you off. Next slide. Keep going. How often do we have bills?
Every month.
Every month.
How long will you have bills?
Forever.
Forever.
Forever. So let's kind of think about that. You homeowners that stood up earlier, you're paying your mortgage 20, 30 years, you feel good about that, you should. But at the end of 20 or 30 years, if you didn't own your home, would you feel good about that? No. You workers that stood up early, you're gonna work for the next 20, 30 years. But at the end of that 20 or 30 years, will you own the company and you're all right with that?
Huh.
So you're gonna give them your time for money for the next 20 or 30 years just to get paid a third of what you're making today. And you're gonna go have a retirement party to celebrate your third of what you're making today.
Wow.
And then after you spend the $2,000 or $3,000 on your retirement party, you're gonna go get another job. Because you can't afford to live off a third of what you're making today. But that's okay. That's a smart thing to do. So this part, I'm gonna go through this quickly. What happens? You get into the company and you're building your residual income. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It takes time to build. While you're taking the time to build that, you have your now money. So what happens is you come into the company, you purchase your license, now you're a broker, you can service people in 50 states and 24 countries. When you become a team trainer, the first thing you want to do is sign yourself up. It's called getting qualified. When you get qualified, the company will pay you a $40 bonus saying thank you for learning how to use your own services. You're now in an earning position. Then what happens is Nancy gets up and says, all right, Mom and Dad, how long you been paying bills? Let's quantify this real quick. I'm going to help you open your storefront too. And because Nancy does that with Mom and Dad, it helps them get qualified with their services. Now, she's positioned to secure her entire family tree. See, that's kind of the model I did with my family, my mom, my grandmother, and my stepfather. Because I wanted to build an empire under them so they can stop asking me for money. Right? Okay. But what happens is as you're doing that, the first position we're going to help Nancy run to is the executive team trainer. She's going to find those two people who realize they might have been paying bills longer than her, or almost as long as her, and they are owed some money, and they don't want to go another month without receiving a dime. That's called an executive team trainer. And what we do is we have a system in place. McDonald's has a system in place. Subway has a system in place. You don't go to Subway and change the way they make their sandwiches. You don't go to McDonald's and change the oil and say, you know what, I'm tired of this, I'm going to bring beef. And you're not going to come to ACN and change this system. It already works without you. What we're going to do is we're going to show her the system, ask her how much money she would like to make and how fast she wants to make it, and show her how to do it. By her becoming an executive team trainer, she's now positioned to make bonuses off of everyone that she helps in the company. She actually would get a $30 bonus for helping people get qualified and putting them in a paying position. Nobody makes a dime off of the $4.99. The store with no customer makes no money. It's a customer acquisition company. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And then we're going to help her run to the next position. But before I do that, because some of you need validation, you need to know if that actually works. If you're an executive team trainer, please stand up. Now, what do you mean? That means if you're working with one of them in this room, they know how to position you the right way. They've done it, they've been successful, and they know exactly how to get you into an earning position. So congratulate yourself if you're actually working with them, they've done it before. Does that make sense? Then this next position, which is the executive team leader position, is a position of leaders. These leaders have shown other people how to become ETTs. And because they showed other people, at least a minimum of 3, how to become an executive team trainer, now they're in a position where they're building an empire. They're showing people how to generate money and position themselves for wealth. Now that's a different kind of person. And if you're working with somebody who is doing that already, you're not being practiced on. By the way, if you're working with the ETT, you're not being practiced on because they got there. You're actually working on someone who's created what you wanted already. That means the blueprint has been laid. If you're an executive team leader, please stand up. Executive team leader, if you're working with an executive team leader, by them creating other leaders, they already have it rolling. And you want to listen to everything they're saying because the only thing they want to do is see other people hit those positions. That makes sense?
Yes,
you actually have the ability to generate anywhere from $3,000 to $7,000 per month. Which $7,000, by the way, is an extra $84,000 per month, which is the money that you kind of lost out in the last 28 years. But you can do that now. Miss Sandra Wellington, somebody who I admire enough, she's one of our top executive team leaders in the company. Would you mind giving a testimony?
Not at all. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Sandra Wellington, and my husband is Rod Wellington. He's in the room. And we came into this business on June 30th of 2014, so we've been in about 7 months. And I came from an industry which had a major meltdown in 2008, which was the mortgage banking industry. And I don't know how many of you were affected by that, but I was affected by it and actually had to close a company that I had built over 30 years. And it was a national bank, and we were probably the largest owned African-American bank in the country. And I had to close that bank. I had to go in and tell 200 people, it's been a good run, but it's over. Now, from 2008 till 2014, 15, my husband and I were left to reinvent ourselves. I thank Dr. Marcia Glenn for the phone call that she made to me in June, inviting me to come and look at this opportunity. I came out, I looked at it, I became a new IBO in June, and I have now reached the third position, which is ETL. It's a very, very exciting business. And I'd just like to take this one moment to thank Jamila, thank Dr. Flynn, and thank my entire team in this room for making this opportunity possible for me. And I'd like to introduce all of you to two of our newest IBOs who came into the business today, and that would be Ms. Ernestine Cruz and hi.
I really am, because we came in with a vision a few months ago, a year ago, I'll say a year ago. And the vision was to change your thinking. The vision was to open your mind like that parachute and to position you to never feel like you have somebody's foot on your neck, which is called leverage, every day. So I want to introduce you to someone who is responsible for a lot of the success in this room. And it's because a lot of you are sitting here right now and don't even know you're a part of her too. She's fine. She's ridiculous. But we have lions and tigers and bears in this room. We have mortgage brokers, doctors, and attorneys in this room. We have single moms, business owners, the average worker, hard worker. There's a variety of people in here that are making this business work. And it all came from one of our top team coordinators, Miss. Mrs. Miss.
Yeah.
She's one of our top team coordinators who generated massive success in a short period of time. The team coordinator position is the position you develop an eye problem, except she's going to have a hard time doing that with herself because she's her boss. The eye problem is the amount of money you're making. You have an eye problem. I don't see myself working for you anymore. See, when you're in a position to generate anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000 to $25,000 per month, and you're already a successful doctor with 20,000 clients, I don't know, multiple streams of income sounds kind of attractive, huh?
My amazing fortune is that one of my best friends is her grandmother, so what amazing luck I had. And, for those of you, your true friends really know what you need in life, so yeah, you have to hear them. And her grandmother and I was all shiny on the outside, but had real need on the inside as a single mother and as a big business owner with massive overhead. And so that need to address what are my passions, to be a doctor and to be a mother, this business supported all of that by improving my income, giving me financial stability, but giving me a network of friends and family and colleagues that are truly invaluable. And I think every day that I get an opportunity to come to the Matrix University where, I study financial fitness and I personally develop and I do community building with the best group of business partners in the entire world. So this business is a blessing to me, and I hope that you see what I see in it and the amazing value that you can get back by enrolling in the Matrix School.
Because basically now you know how it works, now you know what we offer, and now you know how you get paid. If you go to the next slide. Go to the next slide. Keep going. What this means is eventually your residual income will pass your now money. It's a building process. You will be able to generate a lot of money from that. This last slide is about training and support. We just gave you a lot of great information, but I'm going to tell you right now, if you're not willing to learn something new, you'll never get what you didn't have. And if you're not willing to get trained, this isn't for you. Because again, it's working already without you. So we're not trying to get you in to show us whether or not it works. We want you to make a sound decision about how this could work for you and how you can insert this into your life by following a system. And what better way to show you how to do that by bringing up one of the pioneers in this industry. See, you've seen a lot of success, you saw a lot of success stories for along the way, but don't you want to know where we came from? Because if success isn't success without a successor. And right now, we're the successors. But when you have a regional vice president, which is one of those positions I breezed through, and I breezed through it because if you didn't get the $3,000, the $7,000, or the $20,000 per month, the other money didn't matter. But this is someone who is the reason we're in other countries. This is someone who went into those countries single-handedly and opened them up. He gets paid in currencies I can't pronounce. Would you mind getting paid in currencies you can't pronounce?
No, not at all.
This is like Zuckerman coming to you and saying, I did Facebook in London. Let me show you how to do Facebook in LA. That's different, right? Isn't that a different learning process? But I mean, I love, don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking all the people that make a lot of money. Oprah is one of my favorite people. She builds schools in Africa, but if you ask her how many people she taught to build a school, she probably couldn't answer that. See, I don't want you to come and build a school in my neighborhood. I want you to show me how to build a school in my neighborhood. And the person that we have here went from the entertainment industry making a whole lot of money, and he'll tell his story, to needing an opportunity just like I did, just like some of you do. So I'm going to bring up someone who's paved the way, and the reason why a lot of us are in this room is because of him. And the person that he comes from is also extraordinary, but it's like a pattern here. And I hope you saw the pattern from ETT all the way to TC. But here's the real truth that's about to come up in front of you. He's going to show you, he's going to talk to you about what your options are this weekend, this evening rather, and how you can get started tonight. Do you want to know?
Yes.
So without further ado, I'm going to bring up Regional Vice President Steve Travers.
Not too much longer, but how many of you learned something tonight? Imagine if you didn't come, what would you have learned?
Nothing.
You see, when you show up for life, magic can happen. But if you're unplugged from your life, nothing happens. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Got it. So it is a privilege and an honor to stand in the room before you tonight and to follow in the light of Ms. Janela Frierson. She is one of the up-and-coming leaders here in the LA marketplace and in the global marketplace. And I consider myself a talent scout. Apparently there was a big football game recently. Anybody see that football game?
Yeah.
Was there a little bit of talent on the field? How do you get to be on the field?
Practice.
There's a series of tests and challenges and opportunities to prove yourself. And if you prove yourself strong enough to play in the game, you get to win. Simply by sticking with where you began. And Ms. Janela Frierson, there is without a doubt, she will be one of the top regional and senior vice presidents. Thank you so much. And so if you could help me, Sean, I appreciate it. All of the leaders, Ms. Janela Frierson, Dr. Ms. all the leaders. I'm going to speak with you for approximately 7 minutes. How many minutes?
7.
If I could transform your financial future in 7 minutes, how many of you would like to transform your financial future?
Yeah.
Okay? Very simple. You get to make a decision. When does the rest of your life begin?
No.
When is now the best time to transform your life?
No.
Okay? Now, I grew up in a working class family. My father was an immigrant from Scotland. I was the first child born in America. Any immigrants in the room? Most people take America for granted because they were born here. Most people in America take it for granted because they were born here. Anybody ever heard of America called the land of opportunity?
Yep.
If this is the land of opportunity, people dream of coming to America. Why are the majority of people broke? That is a hard-hitting question. It's because they think wrong. Nobody taught them how to work smart. They were only taught how to work hard. Make sense?
Absolutely.
Minute number one. My father came as an immigrant from Scotland, and he taught me how to work hard. How many of you have a good work ethic? You were taught how to work hard. If you work hard for the rest of your life, do you realize what you're going to do? You're going to die because you worked hard. How many of you like the idea of working smart? En español, que trabajas. Okay? The point is if you learn how to work smart,
you can actually go from where you are to where you want to go. That's what you were introduced to tonight. Now, 13 years ago, I met a gentleman by the name of Mr. Brian Sachs, who was introduced to this business by a gentleman by the name of Mr. Byron Nelson. Those two gentlemen completely transformed my world because the information that they shared with me made sense and my life was not working. Meaning, I was a producer. I produced 3 Super Bowl commercials. I'd won awards. I ran very large production companies. I made approximately $250,000 a year. Anybody making $250,000 a year? Oh. But 9/11 came along and turned everything upside down, and I personally lost over $50,000 within 3 months. How many of you would like to only go from $250,000 down to $200,000 a year? It's very difficult, and I realized that the world was changing. And if I didn't change, that I would be left behind. Does that make sense? Okay, so each and every one of us will pay our bills forever for the rest of our lives. If you were just given the opportunity to plug into an unlimited source of income, how many of you people would like to make more money? Is there anybody else in America that would like to make more money?
Yes, everybody.
Is there anybody in America that would like to retire at some point in their life?
Absolutely.
Is there anybody in America that would like to retire early, like at 55 instead of 65, 45 instead of 65, 35 instead of 65? What about 30? Anybody around 20, 21, 22? Right? You realize that if you learn how to work smart and you take action tonight, you can totally transform your life forever. You can take care of generational wealth. That is what's on the table. So tonight, you get the opportunity. There's 4 steps to your success. How many steps?
4.
How many fingers am I holding up?
5.
Okay. If you're paying attention. 4 steps to success. Step number 1, make a decision. What sounds better, accounts payable for the rest of your life or accounts receivable? I'm in. I don't understand it, but if you're willing to teach me, I'm in. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So just make a decision. The piece of paper that's being handed to you, I call it your Declaration of Independence. When the Declaration of Independence was being signed by 72 gentlemen, is everybody aware of what they were actually signing? They were signing their death warrant. They said, we will live free or we will die. How many of you are willing to die for your freedom? Okay? You don't have to die. You just need to be willing to work hard and work smart, pursuing your goals and dreams. The first step is make a decision. I'm in, I'm out. Let the person know I'm in or I'm out. Make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Second step, we're going to teach you how to sign up your own business. Anybody making money with the internet? Via the internet right now? Is there money being made on the internet?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. You now own an internet business for $499, operational in 24 different countries, e-commerce ready. It is the most powerful, ridiculous business you will ever encounter. And that's why wealthy people get it immediately. That's why I got it. And so we're going to get you set up with your own online storefront. We're going to teach you how to sign up 3 services. How many services? 3. You're going to be qualified to make money. You must do that within your first 24 to 48 hours. Why do we want you to do something within 24 to 48 hours? Because your life is happening second by second. And if you don't get it done, if you don't get something simple done within 24 to 48 hours, there's a really good chance you won't do it.
That's true.
And we don't want you on the team if you're not willing to do what you need to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We don't get you in, we let you in to our family. Make sense? So the first step is decision. The second step is sit down, get started, register, get your own online storefront, get qualified right away. Step number 3, make a list of 100 people. Does everybody know at least 100 people?
Yes, you do.
This is the simplicity. We're going to give you the checklist. We're going to give you the cheat sheet so you can master the things. So that you can make as much money as you choose to make. And it's not about money. It's about you getting your life back.
Right.
So if you make a list of 100 people, do you think you can find 20 to 25 people that might want to lower their bills in America?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay? Now you actually know 1,000 people, but we're going to keep
Right.
it simple. Just say 100. Okay? And you think that out of 100 people, you might be able to identify 3 people that are hungry and crazy like me.
Absolutely.
Or like you. We don't want everybody on our team. You want people with game, you want people with a good work ethic, you want people with drive, you want people with vision, you want people with a circle of influence, you want people that aren't afraid.
Right.
You want people that surround themselves, because when you surround yourself with strength, guess what happens? You become stronger. If you surround yourself with weak people, what do you become? Weaker. You are the product of the 5 people that surround you financially, emotionally, spiritually, intellectually. Surround yourself with strong people, and you will be amazed at where you could end up within the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So step number 3, make a list of 100 people. We're going to sort through them to identify the players for the game. Okay? Now in the Super Bowl, how many players were on the field?
24.
Approximately 24? I'm a hockey player. Let's say 22. 22 people on the field. How many people were in the stands?
Oh my Lord.
Thousands.
Are there more people on the field or more people on the stands?
Stand.
Who makes more noise, the people on the field or the people in the stands?
People to stand.
We don't care what the people in the stands say.
Right.
Why? Because we're on the field. We're the ones playing. Who gets beat up in the middle of the game? The people on the field or the people in the stands? I'm not talking about open fans. For the most part, the players on the field get beat up and bruised.
Yeah.
Who makes more money? The people on the field or the people on the stands?
On the field.
People on the field. Who jumps in their Bentleys and their Lamborghinis and drive to their beach homes? People on the field or people on the stands? We're looking for the people that want to be on the field. Who wants to be on the field playing the game of your life? Right? 2 minutes. Here's the deal. So we're going to make a decision. We're going to get our website set up. We're going to make a list of 100 people, and we're going to plug into training. Okay? And the best way to introduce people to the business is to come with authentic integrity. Okay? Now again, the business makes sense to you. It will make sense to other people, guaranteed. So our goal is to just identify those people. Okay? Now tomorrow evening there is a training event going on. When is the training event?
Tomorrow evening.
If I can teach you how to make $10,000 within the next 60 to 90 days, who'd like to make $10,000 within the next 60 to 90 days? We're going to teach that tomorrow night. Okay? I'm not talking pie in the sky, I'm just talking about extra money. See, ACN is best when you focus on supplemental income. Supplemental income is an extra $1,000 a month. Supplemental income is an extra $2,000 a month. Supplemental income is money that you start now, and what if it kept growing and growing and growing? Okay? Starbucks didn't become the powerhouse that it is overnight. It happened over time. And so when you launch your business, we want to get you set up. We want to get you trained. We want to get you properly trained. Tomorrow evening, we're going to break everything down for you, just locally, right here in England. Okay? Now, if you already have plans for tomorrow night, I'm going to recommend that you change your plans. Because who else is going to teach you how to make $10,000 within the next 60 days?
No one.
You don't have to. Because you can just keep your life the exact same. But if you're serious about transforming your life, we recommend you clear your schedule. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And the fifth step is tapping into the global network that is ACN. Okay? There's an international convention coming up. Donald Trump is going to be at that training event. How many of you would like to be trained by a multi-billionaire how to become a billionaire? How many of you would like to meet the actual co-founders of ACN, the gentleman that created the company? Right? How many of you would like to be trained by the senior vice presidents and the regional vice presidents? Right? Yeah. Or how many of you would like to form your own opinion on how to do this? Does anybody know where you live? Do you know where you live? The house that you live in, the apartment that you live in, do you know where you live? I've never been to your house, have I? Could you teach me how to get to your house? I'm very familiar with LA. You can just kind of give me a few things. Right. So if you know where you're going, you can teach someone how to get there.
Yeah.
But if you don't know where you're going, you can't teach them. So the point is this, is we're here to support your success. Your job is to dream big dreams. Your job is to look in the eyes of your children and say, I did absolutely everything possible so you could have the life that I dreamt of. How many of us want a better quality of life for our children? Will the life of what you're doing right now ever give you what you want? How many of you would like more free time with your family? Will your job ever give you more free time with your family?
No.
How many of you would like more money to enjoy the finer things in life? Maybe take a trip around the world or send your kids to Harvard simply because you can.
Yeah.
How many of you have a plan to have more money and more free time in your life right now, active in your life, non-ACN, outside of ACN?
Oh.
If you don't have a plan to give you more time, more freedom with your family, and set yourself free, let ACN be that vehicle for you. Does that make sense?
Makes
And
sense.
so on behalf of our leadership team, I want to be one of the first ones to welcome you to our team and let you know we look forward to working with you for many years to come. This will be one of the most challenging things you've ever done. How many of you like a challenge? Anything worth having is worth working for. Ladies who have given birth to a child. If it was up to us, we wouldn't have many kids. But once you give birth to that child, what happens? Magic. It's magic. And that magic lasts a lifetime. I have a tax business. The tax laws in America are all geared towards business ownership. If you don't have a business in America, the tax laws work against you. You join ACN, boom, immediately you now have the tax laws in your back pocket. Okay? But you need to understand what we're doing here. We're transforming our world. We're transforming our community. We have doctors, lawyers, pastors. We have thousands and thousands of churches and nonprofit organizations jumping on board with us with ACN. We're redirecting millions and billions of dollars, and you now can redirect some of that into your bank account. If you could redirect millions of dollars into your bank account and never have it stop, how many of you would like that to happen? That is ACN. So on behalf of our leadership team, we thank you for your time tonight. We look forward to working with you for many years to come. Again, filling out the application is a very simple process. Okay? What you want to do is you want to fill this out tonight. Okay? Your last name, your first name, home phone number, social security number, date of birth. Okay? This is a legal document. This is the Declaration of Independence that you are signing. Literally. Or if you're fans of Willy Wonka, this is the golden ticket that gets you in. Okay? And then your mailing address, that's where you want your checks mailed to. If you don't want the checks mailed to you, you can put my address down. Your sponsor information, you need to put your email address because again, we live in the electronic age, communication happens through that. This is your sponsor information. You want to look the person in the eye who joined your business, who introduced you tonight, and let them know I'm in. Let's get to it. Thank you for welcoming me. Right? We recommend that you use a credit card. Why? Because other people's money is way better than your own. Okay? If you don't have the money, we are not looking for your money tonight. We are looking for your commitment. We are looking for you determining that you want to be a part of our future and you want us as part of your future. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And make sure that you are there tomorrow night and hand this to the person who invited you so that we can get you started right away and put you on the path to success. Make sense? And so again, on behalf of our leadership team, we'll stick around, we'll answer questions for you, but the majority of your questions will be answered tomorrow night at the training event. So on behalf of our leadership team, the Matrix team, we thank you all for your time today.
Yeah.